Chapter 31, Fire Lord. Valley of the End. The Valley of the End. The place of the final showdown between Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, the place where Madara died and Hashirama emerged victorious. Or so everyone thinks. The valley remained pretty much untouched since the fight except for the addition of two gigantic statues. They represent the two fighters whose power could bring any country to its knees. They symbolize and honor those two legendary figures that left their mark in history. The statues of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, each one doing the battle seal as if until this day they were still battling each other. On top of Uchiha Madara's head we find someone sitting there. The wind carried his cloak, allowing everyone to see his clothes. He wore a black long-sleeve top that also covered his neck and chin, a pair of black gloves, and a pair of dark-colored pants. On his waist, he wore a thick black belt with armor-like metal plates attached to it. He also wore blue nail polish on his fingers and toes. But from all that, the most distinguishing feature he had was a strange mask he wore. The mask was strong orange in color and had a spiral pattern with a single hole for his right eye. The cloak itself was a high-colored black cloak with red clouds adorning it. The cloak pretty much said that this someone belonged to the mercenary group known as Akatsuki who, according to Jiraiya, were searching for the bijou. The figure seemed to be deep in thought, as anyone could see. He was gazing into the emptiness of the sky as if trying to find the meaning of life. Flashback. The same figure was seen walking through some cave in some unknown location. The figure stopped walking when he noticed two other figures approaching him. The first one had spiky orange hair with multiple metal piercings in his nose, ears, and bottom lip, but what stood out were his eyes, silver eyes with concentric circles around the pupil. He was wearing the same black cloak with red clouds. The other figure was definitely female. She had blue hair, amber-colored eyes, lavender eyeshadow, and elaborate piercing. In her hair she had a paper flower strapped to it. She was also wearing the same cloak as the other figure. "We need to talk, Madara," the orange spiky-haired figure said, watching very closely the figure with the orange mask. "Of course, Pain. Toby is a good boy," Toby said in a childish, almost high-pitched voice. "Enough with playing around," Pain said in a serious voice, making Toby instantly drop his childish ways and took a completely different stance. "We have some information that you forget to tell us," Pain explained. "And what is it?" Toby asked, but now his voice was more deep and serious. "Kisame and Itachi went to scout the Kyubi Jinchuriki and heard the most interesting news," Pain cryptically said. "Don't play games with me and get to the point," Toby said. He didn't want to deal with Pain right now. "For starters, the Kyubi claims to be Uchiha Madara's grandson," Pain said, and Toby's eyes widened. "Your grandson to be exact," Pain said, looking at Toby directly in his eye, waiting for his answer. "And what proof does he have of that?" Toby asked, trying to gain some time while his mind was running a mile per second trying to figure just what was happening. "The fact that he is an uncounted Sharingan user seems to help," Pain said in a monotone voice. "How very interesting. If that brat has a Sharingan, that could only mean that it came from Minato, as Kushina's family is very well documented," Toby mused and thought. "That would explain how back then he knew I wasn't Madara," Toby concluded in complete shock. Even during his fight 14 years ago he never felt or saw Minato's Sharingan. "That means I'm responsible for killing his only son," Toby unconsciously gulped. He hoped that Madara wasn't very attached to Minato, otherwise he would draw the short end of the stick. "This will require some adjustments," Toby thought. "Care to explain?" Pain stressed out, leaking a bit of killing intent to further drive his point. "This doesn't concern you," Toby flatly replied. "Madara," Pain stressed, "he has a Manjikyu and nearly killed both Kisame and Itachi, but they managed to escape," Pain explained. Everything was going so well, Toby thought, sighing to himself, and the brat has a Manjikyu and was strong enough to drive Itachi away. Serves him right, Toby thought, chuckling to himself. I see, Toby said, still thinking about everything. If Madara had told him about his grandson, he would be able to mold him into his weapon, even better, as his grandson was the Jinchuriki of the strongest Bijou. Anything else? Toby asked. Yes, he seems to have the same intangibility ability as you, Pain asked, and Toby was once again shocked. The brat was able to use Kamui. This would be a major setback, since any time an Akatsuki member appears he can warp away safely. That will make him extremely difficult to capture, Toby said, shaking his head. He should have stayed in bed like a good boy. I want answers, Madara, Pain said with his voice slightly louder. I don't answer to you, you work for me, you would do well to remember, Toby said with a smirk and his Sharingan glowing, but I'll get to the end of this, Toby said, and swirled away, leaving a fuming Pain and the woman stoic at the encounter. I don't like this, the woman said, breaking her stoic face with one of suspicion. What proof do we have that he's even Madara? The woman asked. Everything matches Conan, his power, his knowledge, and his grandson bears the same Sharingan ability, Pain stated, but that didn't seem to ease Conan's doubts and worries. Let's forget this for now, let's focus on our current task and the preparations for hunting down the Bijou, Pain said, and both left the cave. End flashback. Toby was knocked out of his thoughts when he sensed someone approaching. Although he knew very well who was approaching, he didn't let his guard down. A popular saying came to mind, there is no honor among thieves. Just because the approaching figure was his subordinate and belonged to the Akatsuki group, it doesn't mean he should be trusted. The figure was a tall, tanned, muscular man. He wore a white hood and a black mask, with his eyes being the only visible part of his face. Underneath, his mouth was stitched together at the edges and he had long dark brown hair. His eyes had an unusual coloring, green irises, no pupils, and red sclera. His clothing included the traditional Akatsuki cloak and the forehead protector of his home village with a scratch in the middle which symbolized that he was no longer loyal to it. He also wore dark red nail polish, and his dark green Akatsuki ring with the kanji for north was placed on his left middle finger. His entire body was covered with various stitches and predominantly appeared to be sewn together. He was Kakuzu, an S-rank missing nin from Takigakure, as displayed by his scratched Hitayat. Is everything set? Do you have the sacrifices? Toby asked. Yes. They are ready for leader to perform the technique, Kakuzu explained, sitting down next to Toby in the cliff. How do you know he'll tag along for the mission? Kakuzu asked. You forget that Zetsu has spies everywhere, his spy network puts even Jiraiya's to shame, Toby explained with a smirk. Zetsu was a member of the Akatsuki, however he wasn't the fighting type and was more the intelligence-gathering one. Fair enough, Kakuzu said, agreeing with Toby. Do you remember your primary objective? Toby asked. Failure is not an option, he's crucial to my plans, Toby pointed out. I don't know why you need him, but who am I to question that? How hard can it be? Kakuzu rhetorically asked, but, how can you be sure he'll go along with it? Kakuzu asked. It's not as if his objective was hard to accomplish, but it was very tricky. There's a reason why pride is a sin, with the right incentive it makes people malleable, Toby cryptically said, watching the skies. What about the secondary objective? Kakuzu asked. The funds are always good for the Akatsuki, and his chakra would also benefit our plans as a backup, Toby explained, meaning, don't fail either, Toby said, leaking out killing intent. I've never failed a mission, Kakuzu said in a strong and firm voice. I'll be watching, Toby said, swirling away. Let's get the show on the road, Kakuzu said, getting up and heading towards the midst of the fire country. Konoha, Senju compound, 12 hours earlier. It was a beautiful day in Konoha, it was warm and sunny all over. The sun was coming up, shining upon Konoha as the merchants were opening their stores to start up a fresh new day. A few sun rays broke through the village's barrier and started waking up people inside the houses. This was the unfortunate event for Naruto. The room was dark and a few beams passed through the window and hit him right in the eyes, waking him up from his slumber. He released a small yawn and tried to shift in bed but realized that he couldn't move. He looked down and smiled at his princess snuggled next to him, resting her head in his shoulder. One of the things he enjoyed most was waking up with Hinata next to him. Feeling her warmth against his body, caressing her soft hair. They hadn't had much time alone in the last 2 weeks with his pervert of a godfather hanging around. While he was caressing her hair, she started to stir and slightly opened her eyes. She noticed that Naruto was looking at her with a warm smile. She returned the smile just before she closed her eyes again and placed her head on his chest, releasing a sigh of bliss and happiness. They stayed there for a few minutes just enjoying the warmth of each other, both happy they had each other in their lives. "How do you like our new room?" Naruto softly asked, still running his hands through her hair. He noticed that even though her hair was a mess from sleeping, she still looked beautiful to him, perhaps even more. The room itself wasn't overly large, but it was sufficient for a couple. The bed was obviously for 2 persons, they had a nightstand on each side. A closet was embedded in the wooden wall with enough space for all their clothes. Their room also had a private bathroom and small room they decided to use for scrolls and weapons. "I guess it's okay, the pillow is still the same though," Hinata said, giggling, and Naruto chuckled. The pillow in this case would either be his chest or shoulder, since Hinata usually would wake up resting her head in one of them. "You know we have to get up," Naruto sadly said. "I don't want to. 5 more minutes," Hinata cutely pouted, drawing circles in his chest, trying to persuade him to sleep and cuddle a bit more. "How about I get a shadow clone to bring us breakfast to bed?" Naruto asked, and Hinata quickly nodded. She was about to reply when Naruto placed a finger in her soft lips. "Breakfast for a kiss," Naruto said, and Hinata quickly replied, giving him a passionate kiss. "That will do," Naruto said, chuckling, and made a shadow clone to prepare the breakfast so they could eat together. Not even 5 minutes later, Naruto's clone appeared in the room with a tray filled with juice, bread, and some fruit. Naruto sat up and easily placed Hinata between his legs with her back to his chest. They happily ate their breakfast since they didn't have any major concerns. They didn't have anything scheduled for today, and as such they could enjoy the day or maybe get a mission. "So what do you want to do today?" Naruto asked while smearing some butter on bread and starting to eat it. "Don't really know. Do you want to get a mission or something?" Hinata asked while drinking some orange juice. Naruto pondered getting a mission, but then he remembered that they were both chunins and, as such, their sensei Kurenai would be no more. "We are both chunins, so Kurenai is no longer our sensei," Naruto explained, and Hinata realized that what Naruto said was true. Right after the chunins' exams and promotions, they both left on a mission, so they didn't realize that Team 8 was no more. "What now?" Hinata asked, and Naruto shrugged his shoulders. "How about we swing by Bachan's office to find out," Naruto said, and looked towards the clock in the nightstand. "It's past 10 o'clock, so Bachan should already be in her office." "Damn, we really overslept," Naruto said, chuckling. They weren't used to sleeping in as they had team meetings before. "I didn't mind," Hinata innocently replied. "I bet you didn't," Naruto tried to say with a serious face but laughed nonetheless. They finished their breakfast and Naruto made another shadow clone to take the stuff to the kitchen, while all the way muttering something about lucky originals. "Let's get up," Naruto said, and was about to get up when Hinata shifted her weight and ended on top of him, pinning him to the bed. "We aren't going anywhere," Hinata said, giggling like a mad person that made poor Naruto shiver. "What are you going to do now?" Hinata teased. Naruto smirked before his eyes flashed to his EMS and activated his Kamui. He phased right through the bed and reappeared in the middle of the room with a smirk. "That's not fair," Hinata said, throwing him a pillow that phased through him as well, making Hinata pout. "All is fair in love and war," Naruto wisely said, and Hinata stared at him. She sighed and got out of bed. They both got dressed and left the Senju compound heading towards the Hokage's office. They needed to find their status as of now. Hokage's office. Naruto and Hinata made their way towards the Hokage tower and up the stairs. They reached the office's entrance to see Shizun by the desk. "Shizun-ne-chan, you are Bachan's secretary now?" Naruto asked, and she nodded, going through paperwork. "Poor you," Naruto said, chuckling. "Is Bachan busy?" Naruto asked. "No. You can go ahead," Shizun said, stamping another paper and placing it in a nearby stack. Naruto and Hinata walked up to the door and entered to see Tsunade buried in paperwork with Hiruzen nearby smoking his pipe without a care in the world. It looked like Hiruzen left the paperwork build up when he asked Jiraiya to go search for Tsunade. Hiruzen would have liked to read his Ika book, but it might prove dangerous with Tsunade nearby. "Morning Bachan, old man," Naruto said, greeting his grandmother and the old Hokage. Tsunade looked up from all the paperwork and noticed Naruto and Hinata standing in front of her. "Hey Naru-chan, Hinata," Tsunade said, and Naruto sighed. He couldn't get his grandmother from calling him that. On the other hand, Naruto called her Bachan, meaning she would be old, which she didn't like, so it was an eye for an eye. "What brings you to my nightmare?" Tsunade asked, and Naruto pondered, telling her about shadow clones, but decided to hold it for later as a trump card. "I'm evil," Naruto thought, chuckling darkly to himself. "Actually, we are wondering what will happen to us since we are both Chunins and currently without a team," Naruto said, and Tsunade stopped her work. She brought her hand to her chin, deep in thought. For starters, Aburame Shino didn't get promoted to Chunin and, as such, he was placed on Team 10 with Yamanaka Ino and Akimichi Chuji under Sarutobi Asuma, Tsunade explained before picking another paper. Regarding Team 7 under Hitaki Kakashi, they will be on hold until we find a genin to complete the cell. In the meantime, Uchiha Sasuke will still be part of said team when not on Chunin's affairs, Tsunade said, and both nodded. Team 9, Guy's team, didn't get promoted, so they would continue on standard mission like the new Team 10. "That means our old team is permanently disabled," Hinata said. "What about Kurenai-sensei?" Hinata asked. "She will be returning to her normal life as Jounin until she decides to take another genin team," Tsunade explained, and Hinata nodded. "Without a genin team, Kurenai would most likely be more time away from the village." "What about us?" Naruto asked. "I was getting to that," Tsunade started. "Both of you will most likely be paired with other Chunin or Jounin for missions until we find a stable team, if any," Tsunade explained, and both nodded. "What about Gaara and his siblings?" Naruto asked, and Tsunade got a tick mark from all the questions preventing her from doing her work and enjoying her sake. "They are Team 11 under Mitarashi Enko since Tamari relies on her fan and Kankuro on his puppet and poisons," Tsunade explained. "I just hope she doesn't turn Gaara back to his crazy state. I kinda feel sorry for them. Perhaps killing them would have been more merciful," Naruto thought, shivering at his previous encounters with the crazy snake lady. "Do you want to grab a mission while we are here?" Naruto turned and asked Hinata. "We don't have anything planned, might as well," Hinata replied, and Naruto agreed, pumping his fist into the air. "Mission it is. Bachan, do you have any mission for us?" Naruto asked, and Tsunade shook her head in defeat. She was buried in paperwork and had yet to decide on the newer teams. "I guess I will just pick up the new Chunins and place them together," Tsunade thought before shifting through the papers, pulling out the newer promotions. "Shizun," Tsunade called out. "Yes, Tsunade-sama?" Shizun asked, entering the office. "Get me Nara Shikamaru and Uchiha Sasuke," Tsunade said, and Shizun left to summon both shinobi to her office. "What do you need those two for?" Naruto asked, but he already had a suspicion. "They will be your teammates for the next mission," Tsunade and Naruto sighed. Hiruzen cringed slightly because he knew the history behind those two. "I hope Sasuke doesn't give much trouble," Naruto muttered under his breath. What was that? Tsunade asked as she didn't hear Naruto. It's just that Sasuke and me don't get along, Naruto simply said. Oh, my little Naruchan is acting like a senju, he already hates the Uchihas, Tsunade said, wiping out a fake tear. Hiruzen and Hinata chuckled and Naruto shook his head at his grandmother's antics. By the way, you are both in the newest edition of the bingo book, Hiruzen said, throwing him the book. Really? Naruto rhetorically asked, opening the book. Let me guess, IWA, Naruto said, and Hiruzen sadly nodded. Congratulations, you both have targets on your heads now, Tsunade said with sarcasm evident in her voice. Pages 112 and 113, Hiruzen said, and Naruto quickly found his record. Name, Senju Naruto. Age, 14. Alias, Konoha no Raijin, Konoha's Thunder God. Status, Elite Chunin. Village affiliation, Konohagakure no Sato, Hidden Leaf Village. Rank, S. Bloodline, Sharingan. Known elemental affinities, Wind, Fire, Lightning. Weapons, Uchiha Madara's Gunbai. It's a wide fan with 3 blood-red tomos on each side. It has a long handle with bandages wrapped around the base. The main part of the weapon is light brown with the edges being black. Abilities. Taijutsu, Jounin/Kage level. Ninjutsu, Kage level. Fuinjutsu, Seal Master. Genjutsu, Chunin/Jounin level. Summoning Contract, Fox, Jinchuriki of the Kyubi no Yoko. Other known abilities, Senju Naruto was seen performing both the Rasengan, A rank, and Hiroshin no Jutsu, S rank, techniques created by Yondaime Hokage. Also has the ability to transform his chakra into golden chains strong enough to hold Shikaku in place. Physical description, stands at 5 feet 7 inches with long mid-back blonde spiky hair, which partially covers right eye, and deep blue eyes with 3 whisker marks on each cheek. Usually wears orange pants and dark blue combat sandals. He also wears skin-tight black shirt with umbu chest plate over it. Known relationships. Uchiha Madara, paternal grandfather status, deceased. Namikaze Minato, father status, deceased. Senju Kushina, mother status, deceased. Senju Tsunade, maternal grandmother status, Godaime Hokage. Hyuga Hinata, rumored girlfriend status, Chunin, see next page. Bounties. IWA, wanted alive 50 million Ryo. Suna and Odo, wanted dead or alive 10 million Ryo. Approach with extreme caution. Damn, they are well informed, Naruto said after reading his page. Although I like my alias. Konoha no Raijin has a nice ring to it, Naruto said chuckling and handed the book over to Hinata. You do realize you just made enemies from 3 villages, Tsunade said with a serious voice. I know, though I wonder why IWA wants me alive, Naruto mused out loud. Probably so they can skin you, Hiruzen said chuckling, making Naruto glare at the old man. What about you, Hina-chan? Naruto asked, and Hinata looked up from the book and showed it to him. Name, Hyuga Hinata. Age, 14. Alias, Shur no Megami, Death Goddess. Status, Chunin. Village affiliation, Konohagakure no Sato, Hidden Leaf Village. Rank, A. Bloodline, Byakugan. Known elemental affinities, Wind, Water. Weapons, Twin Trench Knives. Abilities. Taijutsu, Kage level, unknown technique that kills the enemy with a single touch. Ninjutsu, Jounin level, very skilled in water manipulation. Fuinjutsu, unknown. Genjutsu, unknown. Summoning Contract, unknown. Other known abilities, known to be able to disable Jinchuriki with some seal technique. Uses weapons coated with deadly poisons. Physical description: stands at 5 feet 4 inches with Heimcut-style dark blue hair and Byakugan eyes. She wears a cream-colored hooded jacket with fur around the cuffs and hem, with navy blue pants. Known relationships: Hyuga Hana, mother status, deceased. Hyuga Hayashi, father status, Jounin, Hyuga clan head. Hyuga Hanabi, younger sister status, academy student. Senju Naruto, rumored boyfriend status, elite chunin, see previous page. Bounties: Suna and Odo, wanted dead or alive 5 million ryo. Don't approach if below high Jounin level. Do not engage in taijutsu. I like my alias better, Hinata happily said, handing the book to Naruto. Sure, no Megami, Naruto said and hugged Hinata. I guess I can't call you princess anymore, Naruto whispered and kissed her. Cough. Tsunade fake a cough and cleared her throat to separate the couple before this could escalate. Yes, you will have to be extra careful with bounty hunters as of now, Tsunade said. Even the lowest bounty of 5 million ryo is enough to attract a lot of attention, Tsunade explained. Yes, but I'm ranked as a Kage-level shinobi and Hinata as an elite Jounin 1. We won't go down easy, Naruto said, and Tsunade shook her head. Idiot, don't let the fame get to your head, Tsunade said, and Naruto waved his hands in defeat, not wanting to be punched. Knock knock. Come in, Tsunade said, shifting her attention to the door. The door opened and in came the brooding Uchiha Sasuke and the lazy-ass Nara Shikamaru. They were both wearing the Chunin flak jacket and Umbu black pants. You called Hokage-sama, Shikamaru said, yawning. It was supposed to be a peaceful day for Shikamaru, but the Hokage had different plans for him. Yes, I have a mission for the 4 of you, Tsunade said. It will be a B rank, maybe A rank depending on the opposition, Tsunade explained, and they all nodded. Naruto-chan, you will be the team leader since you hold higher rank, Tsunade explained. NNOO, don't call me that in public, Naruto pleaded, and even the almighty Sasuke snickered. You see, you even made the emo brooding king laugh, Naruto stated, glaring at his grandmother. You have a problem, Naruto-chan? Sasuke said in a teasing tone. Shut up, Baka, Naruto said, and Sasuke scoffed. Moving on, Tsunade said, diffusing the situation before it escalated. Your mission is to protect and escort the daimyo's grandson to the fire temple where he will link up with the daimyo. Since the 12 shinobi guardian are down to 4 members, they can't spare anyone from their side, so the task falls to us, Tsunade explained, and everyone nodded. Call him in and tell him that I have an escort team ready, Tsunade and Shizen nodded. About 20 minutes later a young teen walked in the Hokage's office. He looked like he was about 15, maybe 16 years old. He had light blue eyes, with short and straight black hair that ended just around his neck. He was wearing a white kimono with dark red edges. On the kimono were floral designs in a different shade of red. This is Kenshin-sama, the fire daimyo's grandson, Tsunade pointed out, and everyone from Naruto's team did a small bow in sign of respect. This is my escort? Kenshin asked in disbelief. A bunch of kids younger than me, Kenshin said, and Sasuke scoffed. I'm a member of the Uchiha clan. We are not weak, Sasuke stated with pride in his clan. I seriously doubt that. Wasn't the whole Uchiha clan massacred by one of their own, and a 13-year-old at that, Kenshin explained, and Sasuke's anger was boiling. 1. Naruto decided to intervene before Sasuke shoved a Chidori through the person that they had to protect. I'm Naruto, leader of the team. I assure you we are more than capable of protecting you, Naruto said in a formal and courteous voice. You seem even weaker than the Uchiha, Kenshin stated, and Naruto sighed. What exactly was this kid's problem with us? He should know better than to underestimate shinobi, as he should have plenty of interaction with the Guardian 12. Troublesome, Shikamaru muttered. I'll personally guarantee your safety during our mission, Hinata said in a formal and stoic voice. It seemed she still remembered all the harsh etiquette training she received from her clan. Hello beautiful, Kenshin said approaching Hinata. How did I miss you? Kenshin asked while bowing and kissing Hinata's hand. Naruto's eye was twitching and he was considering running a Chidori through Kenshin himself. Hands off my girlfriend, Naruto growled and Kenshin raised an eyebrow. Be nice Narukun, Hinata said removing her hand from Kenshin's grasp. You dare talk to me in such casual manner, peasant? Kenshin asked with a smirk. Naruto by now was releasing killer intent on the annoying Kenshin. Why would such a beauty associate with you? Kenshin asked further angering him. That's it, Naruto said and quickly placed a hand on Kenshin's shoulder and warped him away into his Kamui dimension. Ah, much better, Naruto said and everyone stared at him. He just sent the daimyo's fucking grandson somewhere. Naruto, what did you do? Tsunade asked while everyone else was still staring at the blonde who was acting like nothing had happened. We are supposed to escort him, right? Naruto asked and Tsunade nodded. What safer place than my personal pocket dimension? I'm the only who has access to it, Naruto explained and Tsunade shook her head. Get him back here, Tsunade said and Naruto shrugged his shoulders. He used his Kamui and brought him back to the real world. Where did you send me to? It was so dark and quiet, Kenshin said as he arrived and immediately stumbled to the ground keeping a safe distance from Naruto and started sucking on his right thumb while rocking himself. They will be your escort team. This is Naruto as you have met, Uchiha Sasuke, Hyuga Hinata and Nara Shikamaru, Tsunade explained and Kenshin nodded in defeat embracing his fate. Also Naruto, there is another thing you have to worry about, Tsunade said and Naruto's team focused on her. Kenshin-sama has a bounty on his head due to his bloodline, so be extra careful, Tsunade explained and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Bloodline, are you a shinobi? Naruto asked. I have no shinobi training. I just know how to use chakra so I can control my bloodline, Kenshin explained and Naruto nodded. Can you tell us about it? Shikamaru asked. Every bit of information was valuable even as irrelevant as it may seem. It's called Meitun, Dark Release, and with it I can absorb, manipulate and release someone else's chakra, Kenshin said while showing everyone the palm of his hands. In his palm was a mark that looked like two diamonds overlapping each other. 2. Interesting, Hiruzen said, that is a very useful bloodline, Hiruzen said smoking on his pipe. With the proper training and skill this bloodline would render any ninjutsu's attacks against the user harmless. Although sometimes I can't absorb elemental attacks, I don't really understand why, Kenshin said sighing and everyone nodded. You have your mission, get going, Tsunade said and Naruto nodded and turned to address his team. You heard the Hokage, pack for 2 weeks as we will be traveling at civilian pace. Meet at the North Gate in 1 hour, Naruto said and everyone left the Hokage's office to pack and start their new mission. Looks like Naruchan really did grow up into a good person, Tsunade softly said. Hinata really did wonders for him while his was growing up, Hiruzen said. And the brat is already stronger than me, Tsunade said scoffing. Can you imagine how strong he will be when he reaches his prime? Tsunade rhetorically asked and Hiruzen shivered. Naruto was a Kage-level shinobi at 14 years old. What level would he be when he reached his prime in around 3 to 4 years?